You're listening to the Cars of Carlisle podcast, episode 59, the Carlisle Chevrolet Nationals.
Cars of Carlisle is your favorite internationally downloaded podcast about all things automotive. Darren and his CFC team are ever searching for interesting automotive happenings, real stories about real car people, and fun features to inform and entertain you. Each week, the Cars of Carlisle crew brings you show topics ranging from car shows to team adventures to auto racing weekends to behind-the-scenes human interest stories from car nuts that live across town, across the country, or even across the globe. Come join the road trip.
Today, you'll learn what to expect for this weekend's 2019 Carlisle Chevrolet Nationals. In this episode, Darren visits Carlisle Events headquarters to share what Bowtie fans are stoked about when it comes to this show, Friday, June 21st and Saturday, June 22nd. The Chevy Nationals will afford you the chance to meet Miss Hurst, Linda Vaughn, and to see a Smokey and the Bandit tribute Trans Am recreate the movie Jump on the Carlisle Fairgrounds. Want to see famous drag racer Bruce Larson with his USA 1 vehicles? Come to Carlisle and you may also hear him fire up those mighty quarter-mile machines. It's time to get into the General Motors mode. So, let's get revved up.
Hello and welcome back, Cubers, to your favorite informative automotive podcast. I am your trusted host, Darren, and this is episode 59. This weekend, descending upon the Carlisle Fairgrounds will be the Carlisle Chevrolet Nationals. I am certainly looking forward to it. Going to be there both days, Friday and Saturday. And this episode is really to give you highlights of what to expect. We talked to... gives you an idea of what to expect coming up this weekend. We have a chance to talk to Mike Carlin, and as public relations manager, he will give you the inside scoop of events, guests, people, and some really great cars that are coming to Carlisle. So we'll get into that. But before we do, I wanted to throw out this week's trivia question, and that is, what is the longest running badge under General Motors? So what model have they had for the most years? That answer coming up at the end of this show. So let's jump to the conference room over at Carlisle headquarters, and we'll go there now. All right, I'm here in the conference room at Carlisle Events, and Mike Carlin took a few minutes to catch up with me. Mike, thanks again.
Well, thank you for connecting with me. Full disclosure, I'll out myself here. I stood Darren up earlier today when we were scheduled to get together, and I should thank him for coming back. So my apologies, sir.
Hey, it's all good. Life happens to us. It's quite all right. Excited about the Chevy Nationals. I just bought a Chevy recently, and I looking forward to this coming weekend. In particular, I know for one thing. There's going to be a bit of a Hurst showcase. Do you want to start with that? And Linda Vaughn herself, which if you know anything about Hurst, you can't ignore Miss Linda. So.
Well, and Linda Vaughn is such a sweet lady. She was part of our Hurst event that we had last year. It was held during our Chrysler show in July. But she has not been to Chevrolet Weekend in more than 10 years. Mm-hmm. And when you think Hurst, you think of Hurst Olds. And yes, Hurst has their fingers or their products, more literally, in other brands. Mm-hmm. But I think people think Hurst Olds first and foremost. So it's really cool that we're able to get Linda Vaughn to be at the show. She's going to be signing autographs throughout the weekend. And she's one of just a handful of people from Hurst that are going to be involved. You're going to have engineers, product specialists, sales reps, all these kinds of guys that were part of it, plus Linda, who was the ultimate sex symbol of the era, as car stuff goes.
Mm-hmm. No, without a doubt. And with that, I know that it gives people a chance to really access, like you said, engineers and former employees. They are here and they want to engage in that Q&A and be very accessible to the public.
Well, you definitely can't walk into, let's say, the Chevrolet corporate and talk to the folks that build the cars. That's just not a thing you're going to do today. Mm-hmm. But whether it's the people that had involvement with Hurst or Team Chevrolet now, they come to the show because they recognize an event like this, and like many of the other shows that we do on our schedule, those are the kind of events where they can get in front of the enthusiasts, the people that actually buy their cars and buy their products. So it's an opportunity for you to be able to talk to these people ask them questions, pick their brains, listen to them talk about their products, because we'll do the product walk around, so you can sort of pull the curtain back and see what's going on.
Well, that's something I remember from last Chevy Nationals in 2018. I spoke at length and actually interviewed him on the podcast that week. The marketing manager who specializes in the Camaro and the Corvette. And the fact that I had an audience with him, could talk to him, like you said, short of going to Detroit and hoping have connections, there's no way you're going to even come near these kind of individuals. So it's very fortunate.
And that is on that Chevrolet side. And I know the question kind of came out of the Hurst conversation. The type of people we're going to have on the Hurst side. Don Glover was a Hurst engineer. Steve Weiner is a former Hurst sales engineer. Don Lane, a Hurst engineer. Don Morton, a general manager of performance research. A guy named Joe Barone, former manager of manufacturing and quality control. Marty Danko, former Hurst R&D engineer. So you're having these folks that had such an involvement with that brand, plus the Team Chevrolet people. So it's going to be a one-stop shop, really.
Yeah, it's not something you can do just anywhere. Well, with that, I know that you're having the ride-alongs again down on the autocross track with UMI Performance. I can speak firsthand that last year I got in the car and it happened to be the CEO of UMI. And that man can drive. So, I mean, it was just a lot of fun.
His car, he can do what he wants, right?
That's right.
Go back there and check it out, because it's an opportunity to not only check out some cool products, but then, UMI can talk to you about the products that they sell and what they do and ways that you may be able to improve your ride. And we have some great Midway partners here that are selling products, so you can connect with them as well. And, as always, we encourage the people to want to come out and, hit the automotive flea market, look for those parts, visit our Midway vendors, talk to the folks like UMI, like A&A, things like that.
Well, I know a bit of a local legend because he's from Camp Hill, and if you're not familiar, Camp Hill is only about a 15-minute ride to the east of Carlisle, but Bruce Larson with Nitro Fest, the infamous USA 1 vehicles, he always puts on a fun show at his tent, that is. You better have earplugs, and I've seen you get real close to that alcohol smell.
It's, Saturday night when I'm out with friends, the alcohol smell is one thing, but, in all seriousness, the alcohol smell at Nitro Fest it's a sensory experience. It's sensory overload, but in a good way. Every year I see Bruce and I say, I'm not sure how you're not deaf yet. And of course, his first response is usually, what? But Nitro Fest is a chance for you to sit in the driver's seat of one of his top fuel drag cars. They go through the warm-up process, they fire it up, and then they put in that nitro, that top fuel stuff, and that really makes the thing, we can't cackle. I can't put cackle and fest together anymore, or someone will send us a cease and desist letter. But it really makes the engine cackle, and that's where sort of the original name came from, and then we transitioned to the Nitro Fest deal. But it's loud, it's smelly in a good way, and it's a chance for you
iced here.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah. It makes somebody like a Billy Joel who lost his hair, or it makes the hair in your nose fall out. Is pretty much what it does.
Yes, it does.
I have been here now 9 years. I have never sat in the seat of that car, but I feel like I've been closer than most for almost every Nitro Fest over the last 9 years. So right. I'm good.
Yeah, you're close to those pipes when they're spewing. There's going to be a collector's car auction happening just over the Expo Center, correct?
Super cool addition this year is bringing the Carlisle Summer Sale, the second annual Summer Sale auction, into the mix for Chevy Nationals weekend. So whether you're an auction enthusiast or just a bow tie enthusiast, you get a chance to potentially pick up your first or next classic in the Chevy world. They're going to have an all Chevy hour in the 3 o'clock hour on Saturday. And it's more added value to your ticket when you come out to the weekend, because when you buy a ticket to come to the Chevrolet Nationals, you can walk across the street to the Carlisle Expo Center, check out the auction. If you're a registered bidder for the auction, you come over here and check out the Chevrolet Nationals. I mean, it's certainly reciprocating entertainment, and just another reason why folks would want to come out and really enjoy it all.
That's excellent. And one of the things that Carlisle Events does so well, and those that have been following the shows, this, bringing in big names. And in fact, like Charlie Morris, he's known for being a muscle car enthusiast, author of Detroit Muscle Factory, Lightweights and Purpose-Built Muscle Cars. He'll be here available for signing, and people get the chance to meet him. Anything else you want to talk about with either Charlie or any of the other guests?
Really, I mean, any guest, and this goes back to like the engineers and whatnot earlier. You're going to have a guy like Matt Avery, who's an author, and he's going to be part of the Solid Lifter showroom. Larry Lombardo is a former NHRA Pro Stock and World Champion. You mentioned Charlie Morris. You get guys like this, and you get that unfettered access to them. Really, you can, within reason, ask them about anything, and they're going to be able to talk to you about it. And these are the car experts. These are the guys that if you could borrow them for a few minutes to have them come to your house and hang out for a little bit, like that's the kind of conversation you can have, except you can't take them from us. So, come here and talk to them and talk shop and pick their brain. We've had guests come in over the years, not just at this show, but at others, like a Dave Kindig or a Stacy David or Mike Finnegan was just at a recent show. And, so many people walk up with hey, check out my car. They'll show them the picture of their car, and then they'll, what do you think about this? And that's the kind of access, and that's what you get with guys like this, and they're so happy to talk with you about that. So don't be afraid to approach. That's exactly what they're there for. A guy like Matt Avery is going to have some books for sale as well. So if you're looking to pick up some good automotive reading material, he'll have that for you.
Get to meet some of the heroes out there. Well, some of the standards that we have, most of the shows that we have, the burnout contest and Miss Carlisle, none of that usually disappoints. But new for this year is what I won't preempt you, but what the fellas and the crew from Northeast Ohio Dukes, what they're bringing here.
Oh yeah, the Bandit Jump. This is something that if you are a car enthusiast, you probably have heard it pop up a time or two in the news this year. It's happening. It is happening at Carlisle for now the first time this year anywhere. It's happening at Carlisle on Saturday at 1:00. Northeast Ohio Dukes guys, great stunt show guys. They put on a heck of a show with the things that they do. Really known for their jumps, and they're gonna bring a Bandit Trans Am in, and they're gonna sail it across the grounds, and it's gonna be kind of epic. And for the car people, I can't stress enough, like, a Trans Am is not actually going to die in the process of this jump. I mean, some car is going to get mangled, but it's just a replica. It's a recreation. It, from far away, will look like a Bandit Trans Am, but don't get too close because it'll be, duct tape and spray paint kind of thing.
But essentially, it's recreating that infamous jump in the Georgia backcountry where I guess the bridge was out.
Yeah, the bridge was out. Burt Reynolds and Sally Fields were running from the cops, and he... So that's bad, and he turns around and heads back, and there's the cops, and that's even worse. And they
are you ready, Roy?
Turns back around and flies over the bridge, and so Burt passed away in September of 2018. So this is kind of our nod to the Bandit. Our company, Carlisle Events, has some history with Burt Reynolds. We worked with him a few years ago in Lakeland, Florida, and I've been fortunate to meet a lot of great people. People that work in our company have met a lot of great people, but I think all of us can say the time that we spent with Burt Reynolds was pretty cool. I mean, there's not much more of an iconic actor coming out of Hollywood than there was at that time.
No.
And to be able to spend some time with him, I remember when he passed away, I was coming back from Florida actually with my youngest daughter, and got a bunch of text messages when I landed telling me about his passing, and it was sad. So it's kind of cool that the Northeast Ohio Dukes guys are doing this tribute jump, and that we can be the first to host this jump. And we had, I don't want to say off the top of my head because I don't want to be that wrong, but we had a large amount of VIP packages available for the Bandit Jump, and I'm happy to say that they're all sold out.
That's great.
Every single VIP Bandit Jump pass that was available was sold out. Now, that doesn't mean you can't still come. You absolutely can still come and see this jump, but the VIP tickets, those sort of front and center, best view in the house type tickets, those sold out with a week to go. So that was really cool.
Good for you guys. That's awesome. I'll give you a final word. Anything else that you want to share that's to really kind of get the Bowtie fans up and going?
The displays and the anniversaries. I mean, it's not just about the guests, and it's not just about the Bandit Jump. I mean, we're going to embrace that summer of '69 again. In fact, we're actually going to take it 10 years back even further by celebrating 60 years of the El Camino. So that's going to be one of our displays. 50 years of the Blazer is going to be on display. 50 years of the GTO and the Judge. So that's going to be really cool. We're also doing Novas at Carlisle. So if you're a big Chevy Nova fan, you want to get out and check that out. There's even going to be like a Chevy truck madness type of deal here. We're going to have a group coming in hosting basically a Chevy truck themed show here at the show. And, I've used the word Chevy a lot, but please, if you're a Buick owner, an Oldsmobile owner, a Pontiac owner, Cadillac owner,
under the GM umbrella,
anything under that GM umbrella, like I get at the time, your Pontiac was in competition with the Buick and your Cadillac was in competition with, the Camaro. Everybody's welcome. Just because that Chevrolet moniker hangs over the show doesn't mean you're not welcome. So if you have anything to do with that Chevy family, the GM family, dating back to, when cars were first made, this is your place to be.
Well, that's the great thing about these shows. It's all about the inclusivity. I just remember a couple weekends ago with Ford, you've got the Model T guys talking to the Ford GT guys. You're spanning 100 plus years and all walks of life. It doesn't matter.
Well, you absolutely will at this show because there's a dude named Vernon Callman that comes to the show. Vernon's from nearby in Carlisle, and he's older than us combined, I think. He's definitely in his late 80s, and he has, I think, a 30s era Oakland that he has had since he was a teenager. Then you get... really is 100 years plus. You also you mentioned the Ford show. There was 112 years of production on display at the Ford show a couple of weeks ago. So that's the type of history lesson you get when you come to a show at Carlisle, and it really doesn't matter what show you're coming to. This weekend it matters because you're coming to the Chevy show.
Sure.
But
living museum, essentially.
It really is. I've been to the State Museum in Harrisburg, and they have an entire wing dedicated to the automotive history of Pennsylvania. And I thought, why aren't we in that wing? But regardless, this is your chance to get an automotive education museum style.
And yes, I will sign the petition.
Okay, yeah. I don't have one, but great. It really is your chance to get out and get an education. And the car owners, you know as well as I that the car owners are super eager to always talk about their car and showcase what mods they've made and whatnot. So you come out, you plan early, download the all-new Carlisle Events app. You can do so on iTunes or Google Play. You can also download the Motor Crush app where you can kind of check in with all the cool car stuff, the car scene, and all of that. So there's plenty of ways to know before you go, and you get out here. We're 2 days, by the way. That's a new deal this year. 2 days for the Chevrolet Nationals, Friday and Saturday, and so Saturday afternoon is just going to be a heck of a good time with the burnouts and beauty and the awards and the awards parade and everything that comes with a show weekend. We're doing it all Friday and Saturday.
Excellent. Well, Mike, thank you again.
Well, thank you very much, and again, sorry for standing you up earlier today.
It's okay. I'll see you Friday.
Take care.
All right, we are back to Studio A, and as always, appreciate Mr. Carlin giving us some of his time to let us know what's happening. So I am grateful for all the inside information that our friends at Carlisle Events gives us, and thank you to that team. Really, again, looking forward to time spent on the fairgrounds this Friday and Saturday. With that, wanted to answer the trivia question for this week, episode 59. The question I put out there at the beginning of the show was simply this: what is the longest running model under the General Motors umbrella? And actually, this answer, the vehicle I'm about to share, is the longest continuous use of an automobile nameplate in production, period. And it started in 1935, in the 1935 model year, and it has been one of General Motors' truly most profitable vehicles. It's been around, like I said, since the mid-30s. It came to be known. It had the name Carlisle in it originally. It was one of the first production folding metal, all metal bodied station wagons. And the answer is the Chevrolet Suburban. So it's been around since 1935. You may know it was produced under the GMC mark until then it was rebranded. It has become the Yukon XL. But it has been sold in not only here in the U.S., but Canada, throughout Mexico, Latin America, Chile, for instance, Central America, the Middle East, with the exception, I believe, of Israel. But the vehicle is a global vehicle, and that nameplate has been around continuously since 1935. So that is this week's answer. In fact, I wanted to also share with the Cubers that as I was researching and trying to come up with a really cool GM Chevrolet trivia question, I thought it was interesting that obviously the founder of Chevrolet, Louis Chevrolet, but the first car that the company sold was sold for $2,150. They, as you know very well, introduced the Corvette in 1953. SUVs came into being by Chevy. Chevy basically invented it with the Suburban. The fact that Chevrolet was one of the very first companies to offer built-in 4G LTE Wi-Fi in its cars. And GM has produced more than 500 million vehicles since its inception in 1911, founded by William C. Durant. So those are just some interesting, some side tidbits, but I thought you'd like the Chevy Suburban answer. For now, I am going to get ready for the Chevrolet Nationals. Can't wait to be there. Hope to run into some of you. If you are there, look us up, check things out, send us an Instagram. We'll be on the show fields. Would love to meet up and talk with you. And as always, you can find all that's happening with us on www.carsofcarlisle.com. We've got the upcoming Rally North America. We're getting ready for that, getting the vet tuned and prepped and getting the decals applied and everything. So we are excited about that. And as always, thank you so much for being loyal fans, downloading and listening each week, for rating and reviewing, sharing us with friends and family and car buddies and your car clubs. All of that means the world, and I thank you personally. So for now, I'm going to say drive well, be well, and take care.